I'm Ken from Crypto Trading KS. It's great to see you again. Let's run the numbers. Bitcoin currently down 4.89% to 60,777. Ethereum down 6.69% to 4267. My goal is to assist you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love, and also gain real wealth in the process. Rule 774, master yourself to master the market. I'd like to give Richard C. a call out, a member of our community. Richard says, I've been irresponsibly devoting every waking hour over the last 8 months, learning, investing, trading crypto from zero. Well done, Richard. Richard said something about our channel and our community. We have a mental and spiritual approach. If the head is not right, the wallet becomes a sieve. This is incredibly important. Crypto is so incredibly volatile, it is literally a mind game. Well done, Richard, you nailed it. Many people are drawn into crypto because of the incredible percentage returns that they see. But these percent returns, these large percentages here, they hide a dark secret. Negative percentages occur just like the positive ones. It's really common for crypto to draw down by 10, 20, 30, 40, or even 50%. That's why the crypto community is so set on developing models, things that help contextualize the overall process. Crypto is literally subject to 3 market segments: a bull market segment, where the psychology is overwhelmingly positive. Rockets take off and go for the moon. You'll hear of moon boys and rockets and all sorts of fun things. That and aping in, that is all associated with the upward price movement of the price rocket to hit the moon. After the rocket comes up, goes parabolic, exponential, and hits the moon says, "Get out of here, rocket." And the rocket comes back to Earth in the darkness of the bear market. There are a lot of opportunities in bear markets. Bear markets don't just collapse, they go down gradually. But there are so many opportunities in bear markets. You can see it here, it wobbles around. It's not a straight drop. When you get capitulation, that's basically when everybody gives up. Capitulation hammers in the bear market low, and then consolidation begins. Consolidation builds back the rocket, and then the halving, which is a psychological phenomenon. But of course, it's actually a little bit more than that. But the key to remember, in markets, in all markets, crowd psychology determines price. It's the same in the stock market. It's the same just literally all around the world. It's an important understanding. The halving is an important event. It sends a shockwave through the market. And of course that shockwave is getting less as the halving is really applicable to less and less Bitcoin. But the concept is really valid. We can see in the current price action, we're in the bull market psychology phase. We're holding this level of support. Things are looking okay. This is what we would expect. Price goes up and down dramatically. You can look back to the past bull market and see just how much price is wobbling around. And the critical thing to understand, this is on a logarithmic scale, which means equal percentage movements. This is parabolic. This is going through the roof. The minimum price for the current bull market, I've estimated at 132,418, but we expect price to go anywhere from 288 to 486. I'm on the side of believing it's going to go to 486. Like everything, we'll just keep our eyes on things, but there's nothing to say that that theory that I have is invalid at the moment. If it does become invalid, I'll be the first person to tell you. The other thing to note is that when we look back on halving cycles, we just call this the 2012 halving cycle, the 2016 halving cycle, and the 2020 halving cycle. You can see this blue line here. This is not a price estimate, and you can see this green line here with the green dot. That's not a price estimate as well. That is the length of the 2012 halving cycle just overlaid on the current market action. This green line is the 2016 halving cycle, which lasted considerably longer than the previous bull market. We can see that the cycles are extending. The bull market cycle is extending. The bear market cycle is actually getting lower. It's compressing, which is really good news. We're still in the bull market. That's the critical takeaway. Fidelity Investments did this analysis, and we know Fidelity Investments is a multi-trillion fund manager. They predicted that by 2026, the price of Bitcoin for one Bitcoin would exceed $1 million, and from 2030 onwards would exceed 10 million. What we can see is the price of Bitcoin follows a mathematical algorithm. We would expect higher prices over time, and that's because the supply of Bitcoin is capped at 21 million. There can never be more. We also see that we're really early in the adoption cycle. If you just look at countries only hold 1.253% of that 21 million. Now 21 million have not come out yet. That will occur a long way from now, but the concept is only 1.25%. It's really tiny. And if you think El Salvador is focused around Bitcoin as its payment mechanism, as its currency if you like, they only have $67 million of Bitcoin. They need a few more Bitcoin. When we look at the countries, look at Bulgaria. $12.7 billion worth of Bitcoin. Wow, go Bulgaria! Rule 45, no alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity. You can see by the current market action just how significant Bitcoin's gravity is, and you also notice that some alts are escaping Bitcoin's gravity. These ones are ones we want to take particular note of. We don't pay any attention to USDC, USDT, DAI, and BUSD. They're stable coins. They're not important. They always just hover around the $1 peg. But we always get interested in what is turning green. We can see AVAX, IOTA, Mana. That's really interesting. Keep your eye on these green areas. They could be very good investments. But also remember, when Bitcoin goes negative, the dip typically lasts more than 1 day. A lot of community members have reached out just saying, Ken, what do we do with the 10-5-10 fund now? Now the 10-5-10 fund is a volatility fund. This is how we take advantage of Bitcoin's volatility. Volatility simply means that the price goes up and down. High volatility, it really goes up and down in big percentage movements. The volatility of Bitcoin and the crypto market is off the charts. It is really volatile. Perhaps I can share what I'm doing. When I have my 10-5-10 fund in, I have it at ridiculously low levels. What I'm doing currently, and I'll show you in another screen, I'm all the way down to 30,000. Now, am I expecting 30,000? No, I'm not. I'm hoping to get lucky. The lower you place price away from the current range of price, the lower the probability is of that getting filled, even with the volatility inside the market. But as we know inside our community, crypto is really volatile. All sorts of things can happen. So having a 10-5-10 fund way away from price is a very good idea. But why is it a good idea? Rule 86, price is negatively biased. What this actually means, price loves to go down. Price will go up and up and up, but loves to come down. This is what we call negatively biased. And we love the prices negatively biased because we get to deploy Rule 95. Always lower your average buy price. This is a fantastic rule. We are in accumulation. We know that the bull market is on the way up. Higher prices are expected. If you think about lowering your average buy price, that's the single most important thing any investor and any trader can ever do. One issue coming up is the MtGox rehabilitation of Bitcoin. Let's see how much money or how many Bitcoin MtGox actually has. This is the beautiful thing with the crypto industry. You can always see what is going on chain. After being in the financial markets for more than 3 decades, I can say that the financial markets, like the stock market, they're so hard to get data on unless you're inside an institution. What we can see in crypto, everything is open door policy. It's just the most beautiful market to be in. And most of all, the majority of that information is free. When we look at CryptoQuant, we can see Bitcoin MtGox reserve 137,890 Bitcoin. If we just take this price, the number of Bitcoin, 137,000, and we're going to multiply it by the price. This is just the current price. We can see $8.3 billion. One of the things that I love to do, I love deeply researching what this is. This is an English translation of the Notice of Confirmation Order for Rehabilitation Plan from MtGox. Now, I'll just cut to the chase in here. Basically, what people have to do is to go to this login page to claim their Bitcoin. By clicking that link, you log in here. This is the login page where you enter your contact email address and password. Please take note of these particular terms and conditions here. Basically, what they do is they exclude MtGox and the trustees and everybody connected with MtGox from any further damages. Damage, loss, liability, costs, expenses, pretty much every single thing in here, every clause is you can't sue us, you can't sue us, you can't sue us, you can't sue us, you can't do anything. It is very, very onerous. I suggest anybody who is actually acting on this, who is a MtGox customer, be really aware of this. The other thing is it looks like the rehabilitation amount will be set at 67.24 for 1 Bitcoin and 874.82 for 1 Bitcoin cash. That is not the prevailing market rates of above 60,000. If anybody is connected with the MtGox rehabilitation, please let me know in the comments or reach out to me on Twitter. This is my Twitter account at StanDfielD. Stand, STANDFIELD, can. Please reach out and direct message me. I always love to get the most accurate information. I do a lot of research, I just haven't been able to find any conclusive answers. I have found some answers, but I would like to get it from the source. One article that tends to confirm that $7,000 price is this one from Yahoo Finance, June the 1st. But I'm always interested in hearing from people directly involved. The other thing is that this civil rehabilitation is likely to happen in the summer of 2022, and there's a few types of distributions that are occurring as well. This leads us to believe that the MtGox rehabilitation will not have such an impact on the market as was previously touted by the media outlets. I guess the media really loves sensationalism, but we can see that the MtGox, I'm not even sure if the $9 billion or 8.33 billion is really going to come out and rehabilitate all of the customers. Looking at the MtGox reserve, we see we have approximately 138,000 Bitcoin. It's interesting that this purple line, MtGox reserve, is coming up, but actually if you look, it's not changing at all. It's always 137,890. I'm not sure exactly why this is the case in CryptoQuant, but if you're looking at this particular chart in CryptoQuant, please pay attention to the number of the MtGox reserve. We'll be waiting for this to come down. We'll just look at it like we look at the Chinese property market independently. From all of that analysis, we can say that the MtGox reserves issue is probably going to resolve itself into next year. Coming up, we've got the debt ceiling. December the 3rd, debt ceiling in about 16 days. What we can say about this is the debt ceiling, of course, will be increased. Of course it will. Now, that doesn't mean there won't be political wrangling. Politicians love to get their way and they love to leverage key events. So we could expect some turbulence. We still have the Evergrande issue, and Evergrande, as you know, is not just about Evergrande. Just like our MtGox analysis, we go independent when looking at the Chinese property market. Looking at the top 5 Chinese property development firms, they have net debt, that's net debt, not total debt, net debt of $920 billion. What we're really interested in seeing is how the price is interacting around here. We can see the prices definitely came down. They fell off a cliff. They're starting to consolidate, which is a good thing. We want these prices to come back up. We want the Chinese property market to do well. We want all markets to do well. All markets are intercorrelated and interconnected. If we see a sharper sell-off, we'll realize that there's problems. We'll keep our eye on this as part of our early warning system. But like so many things, don't panic about it. If you want to look at these firms, I just went through marketscreener.com and I found they had pretty good data. You can look here at the ticker. Evergrande is 3333, Fantasia Holdings 1777, Greenland Holdings 606, Country Garden 2007, Vanke just number 2 with so many zeros in front of it. The issue is that this Chinese property sector, these top 5 firms, have sales of $2.15 trillion. That's pretty impressive stuff. Now we've covered off all of these things. We understand more about MtGox. The debt ceiling is just simply a political issue. The US government needs to increase the amount it can borrow because it's borrowing too much. It's a very normal thing for the US to get into this particular problem. Economies are basically run on debt. It's become a Keynesian economics outcome of increased government spending through borrowing. So when they hit the ceiling, when they hit the limits of how much they can borrow, they've hit the debt ceiling. They just need to increase it, and it's always being increased. Sometimes at the right before the second that the US government will default, but the US will never default on its debt. I don't believe that. Also, there are some issues with the Evergrande issue or the Chinese property market. The Chinese property market is incredibly important to the Chinese people. Asian people by default, one of the first questions they'll ask you, how many houses do you own? It's part of culture. The housing sector is really, really important. If the Chinese government doesn't look after this issue, I think it will have a revolt on its hands. The Chinese people, real estate is in their blood, and if Evergrande falls, that will impact so many people all around the world. I don't believe the Chinese government will allow that to happen. But in between, just think about it, in between, we could see really systemic price reductions, but I think they will be very short-lived. Let's have a look through the top 8. When we look at Bitcoin, I was saying that I have my 10-5-10 fund all the way down to the bottom here of 30,000. I'm not expecting it will go down, but if it does, I will be so happy because that's just lowering the average buy price. When we look at Ethereum, there are a couple of key levels that you can pay attention to. 35.95 is one, 32.15 is another, 28.41 and 24.25. I think what could potentially happen, we could get a long wick down and price repairing very quickly. That is the ideal scenario. Binance Coin, a couple of key levels, 497, 441, 401, 344, 298. These are all very much worst case scenarios. If we get something like this, I don't believe price is going to close down in this area. I think there could be a lot of panic in the market if it gets to that point, and prices will just shoot up again. That's why we use the 10-5-10 fund. 10-5-10 comes from the Latin meaning get 100% return when prices halve. I'm just kidding, I made that up. 10-5-10 means that something starts at $10, it goes down to $5, it's decreased 50%. If it comes from $5 back to 10, it's increased 100%. You want those 100% increases. But when I say 100%, I don't mean to put everything that you want to put into your 10-5 50% below the current price. That's not the way to do it. The way to do it is to layer it like this. These could be called 10-5-10 layers, but it's a little bit more than that. I discuss that a lot in the masterclass that I'm currently putting together. If we look at Solana, some key levels to pay attention to: 204, 186, 169. Looking at XRP, some levels that could help with your 10-5-10 fund: 97.56, 90.67, 73.33 and 58.04. Looking at Cardano, 1.707, 1.458, 1.202. Looking at DOT, 31.94, 27.56, 21.55, 1542. And you can see DOGE, really interesting, 2008, good year. 2008 is really the base level. If it falls too far below this, if it falls below, for example, 1520, I think things could get really ugly for DOGE. Hopefully that lower level of 2008 will be the one that holds. We always use probabilistic fearlessness in our understanding of price action. Where could the price probabilistically go if it continued to sell off? Probabilistically, when we look at Bitcoin, around the $50,000 mark, for example 49,787, and we just get that from drawing a trend line up from this bottom, from this low to this higher low. We do the same thing for Ethereum. We would expect if prices continue to come down, and we always have to think, okay, what if price just suddenly reverses and goes up? What are we going to do then? These are the important things you have to keep in your mind. For Ethereum, 37.19 would be a fair intersection level. For Binance Coin, $423.30. For Solana, 201.59. When we look at XRP and Cardano, and a little bit on the side of DOT, we can see it's kind of different, especially for XRP and Cardano. XRP and Cardano would look for major support probably around this 90.67 for XRP. If it continues to sell off, that would be probabilistic. And Cardano, that 170, 1.707 and 1.458 mark. When we look at DOGE is making its way up like this, as we've seen on the other charts. So the 2008 is pretty reasonable, and 22.45 would also be probabilistic. When we look at DOT, a price around the 33.39 mark would be probabilistic. So when you're actually putting your 10-5-10 trades down, it's the probability of them getting filled is a lot lower of course, than around the current price action. We're just looking for some sort of really shockwave negative news like the US government will not increase the debt ceiling, which we know is rubbish. Of course it will. And it will just push price down momentarily, will slurp up all these bargains, and they'll say, oh, we reached agreement just 1 minute before we were due to default on our debt. I'd like to bring a story to your attention. This is from the front page of the Wall Street Journal. Bitcoin price briefly drops below 60,000 as strong dollar weighs on crypto. Note the "and strong dollar." It's basically saying, this article is saying, because the US dollar went up, Bitcoin comes down. It's creating an association in your mind, if you believe it. Let's have a brief look at the US markets and also just a little bit of a deeper dive on the US dollar, the DXY. We can see fear is coming out of the market, and that is through the VIX. The VIX is decreasing. We can see also that the NASDAQ 100 is increasing. It's incredibly powerful. We expected it to come down a little more. It hasn't. It's starting to resume. Let's see how that goes. Light crude oil is under resistance. Bond prices are decreasing. Bond yields are increasing. Bond yields are very, very good for crypto. There's an undeniable relationship between bond yields and crypto. You can see Bitcoin's fingerprint in here behind. That fingerprint is really well correlated with bond yields. We would expect Bitcoin and crypto to go up. Let's just keep our eye on that. Gold futures. Gold did really well, hit resistance, and has backed off. This is just a technical move more than anything else. And the US dollar currency index. Note Bitcoin's fingerprint playing out here in the back. As the US dollar was going up, what did Bitcoin do? It went up. And when the US dollar went down, what did Bitcoin do? It went down. I tell you what, I see this all the time. After decades in the markets, I don't even want to read the news. People basically, reporters, they just create fluff and they say, oh, the reason this happened is X, and tomorrow they'll use the same reason for it going down. Oh, the strong dollar made Bitcoin go down. Oh, the strong dollar made Bitcoin go up. It's just crazy. It's lunacy. And that's why I always say, when you read the news, just be aware of that. News exists for advertisers, not for you. Maybe another thing that could help. You can see the US dollar coming up here, the DXY. If there was an inverse relationship just means that one goes up, the other one comes down. We can see this increase in price or increase in the value of the DXY, and we can see the price of Bitcoin increasing as well. If you think that there was an inverse relationship, as this came up here, the DXY, it would also mean that Bitcoin would have to be pushed down. That is clearly not the case. You can tell very easily, just draw a basic line through here with your eye. The DXY is going up. What's Bitcoin doing? It's doing exactly the same thing. There's no inverse relationship there. Let's just quickly look at some on-chain indicators. The SSR oscillator is showing us that stablecoins are coming into the market and being deployed into Bitcoin. What does that mean? People buying the dip. Does that mean the dip is over? It could be. But we can expect, with negative price pressure, for things to go in that direction for a couple of days. We hope so. We want to pick up our cryptos more cheaply. Turning to net unrealized profit and loss, NUPL, we can see that net unrealized profit and loss is hovering around 62%. When it gets up to euphoria levels, up here into these blue regions, what we can see is the market blows up. Literally, they get to about 80% profitability, and when they get to 80% profitability, it's like everybody is winning. As soon as everybody wins, everybody starts to lose. That is the nature of financial markets. We're not getting any euphoria in here at the moment. We can also see that in search terms. The Bitcoin search term currently, if I can get my mouse there, is about 32, I believe. Oh, 30. When we look at the past blow off top, we had so much interest. People were going in hard and they were becoming euphoric. This is a euphoric blow off top. We don't see this at the moment. This means that we're a long way from the top at present. This sell-off is really, really good for Bitcoin's overall price health. We're not seeing an exponential ramping of new addresses in Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the most stable, the most talked about crypto. And we're not seeing that. Things are just starting to get going. We can see this undeniable relationship between futures open interest across all exchanges and the white line, which is Bitcoin's price. Look at this. There's been a dump in futures open interest, and we would of course think that the dump is because we've had a lot of longs get liquidated. We'll just check that out in a moment. But we can see all exchanges, total open interest is 25 billion. Looking at the current level, it's 24 billion. That's making a lot of sense. Turning to liquidations, there's been $912 million worth of liquidations occurring across 220,167 trading positions. In the last 4 hours, about 73% of liquidations were long liquidations, and we can see this $783 million liquidation on longs, only 100 million of liquidations on shorts. That would be expected. When longs get liquidated, they have to sell, and that puts a lot of downward price pressure and causes these long tail rejections. We love long liquidations because they cool the market down, but there's nothing better than a short liquidation because they push prices up. It's good to think of longs and shorts, the liquidation part of it, as being yin and yang. The shorts come in to cool the market down, and the longs come in to heat the market up. The market is always trying to maintain some level of equalized pressure or equalized temperature. When things get overextended, the market comes in and the other side of it cools it down or heats it up. We're just seeing a bit of a cool down at the moment. I love this little video that Nick, Tales from the Man Cave, did. It's all about lowering your average buy price. Tales from the Man Cave created Ken Man. This is so cute. It's all about when price is going down, we swoop in and just gobble it up. Yes, please. Just lower those prices. You can see over time that makes such a difference to your portfolio. What typically happens is that people who are new to a market get really confident when the price is going up, and then they buy when they feel certain it can't go down. Oh, it's gone up for 3-4 sessions. I'm on a winner, and suddenly the price falls down, and then they say, oh no, I got it wrong, and then they sell. A lot of people end up buying at the top and selling at the bottom. It's very normal. That's why we have to have our emotions in check. We literally need to master ourselves every day. Something that could really, really assist you, like what Richard was talking about at the start of the episode, that sort of mental, spiritual, statistical approach to make sure that your head is right and that the money just doesn't fall out of your wallet or your purse, is to look at KS zone analysis. These are the 4 stages that all investors, all of them, go through to become consistently profitable and attain real wealth. Zone 1 and Zone 2 are the panic zones. One is internal, one is external. A lot of people exist in this blame zone, and that's quite normal. These are stages that all investors and traders progress through. It doesn't matter what stage you're in, just what stage you want to head to. We focus here inside our community on the patience and rule zone, which is all about probabilistic fearlessness, and of course the meaning zone, which is all about enjoying your life. The thing I wanted to raise, Zone 1 and Zone 2 undergo what I call the light switch effect. People go all in or all out. All in on great news, all out on anything that can be construed as negative. We're very, very different inside our community. We don't hype anything up, and we don't catastrophize things when they're in the market. It's really all about taking advantage of this probabilistic fearlessness to scale in and scale out. It's all about probabilities. Negative percentages, just buying opportunities. That's a way that we can pick up cheaper crypto, and that's what we want to do. We want to lower the average buy-in price. It's about having patience. When you put those particular buy orders into the market, you have to wait. You have to have patience for them to be triggered. It can sometimes take weeks. And a lot of people, especially in Zone 1 and Zone 2, they just want to go, 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 buy, 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 sell, sell, sell. And of course, that's really understandable. But when you look at the market through a lens of Zone 3 and Zone 4 behavior, you're making the market work for you. The bigger the rush that you're in, the more certainty, the more correct you need to be. All of those things will work against you. The money will come out of your pocket. What I do here every day, I just want you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love. So I just share all the rules that I've gone through great losses to actually create. And I share them because I want you to be that financial blessing. I want to help you to change your mindset into scaling in. And when things get overheated, it's not about picking the top. It's about scaling out. It's having a predefined plan, making in advance probabilistic choices. So for example, if the market continues to go down, what are you going to do? If the market just suddenly reverses and goes parabolic, what are you going to do? If it just drifts sideways for the next month and gets incredibly boring, what will you do? If you have answers to these questions, congratulations, you've just joined the top 1% of investors and traders. I'd like to thank all the very kind and generous community members who've reached out and shown their appreciation by buying me a coffee on buymeacoffee.com/cryptotradingks. Thanks so much, everyone. I'd also like to thank Rama Lunanen. Rama said, "It helps me to connect to peace and patience." Oh, that's very beautiful. Thank you, my friend. Sea Turtle, calm approach is so helpful. Thank you. Xena. I always think of Xena Warrior Princess. That's such a good show. Thank you very much, Xena, for your very nice words. Improving our daily lives in so many ways, more ways than just financial wealth. Thank you to Jake and Gid and Di, Watts. There are many comments that are underneath these. I just look at it from a logged out perspective, but I just want to thank the people that wrote private messages to me. They're really beautiful. Thank you so much. I'd love to have a coffee with you in person someday. That sounds really nice. And to Lecky, thank you too, Lecky. As my way of expressing my gratitude for your appreciation, I do posts every month. They cover something deeper on the crypto space, and it's just there to help you out. It's just my way of saying thank you. To get to those posts, just log in and just click posts, and then that will take you to the post. We talk a lot about the 10-5-10 rule. There's something in there. Assessing volume integrity is a really important thing, and there's some other videos in there for you. I hope that helps out. And I want to say thank you to all of our coffee club members, supporters. It's so beautiful of you. Thank you. Our community focuses on real wealth. Real wealth is much more than money. Of course, money is critically important. We don't downplay the role of money in terms of security, in terms of happiness, in terms of enjoying life. But, however, inner and outer peace are incredibly important. Integrity and decency, kindness, courage, honor, fearlessness, all of these things are important as well. We focus across everything. You can literally have it all. Crypto is such a volatile market, it makes you face yourself. There's great power in conquering yourself and mastering your emotions. Self-sabotage and self-doubt are two great enemies that you will face in any investing and trading decision. Of course, you face them in life. We all do. All people face self-sabotage and self-doubt. Knowing that you are worthy and unique, that you deserve kindness, love, meaning, and every success in life goes a long way towards saying to self-sabotage and self-doubt, get out of here, self-sabotage and self-doubt. I've got no space for you in my life. I hope you found the content useful. Please consider sharing and liking this video if you think it will help others. Thank you very much to our moderators for keeping our community safe from scammers. And some good news, the Twitter scammer has been eliminated. Wow, thank you so much everyone. Good work. Please say hi and let me know where you're viewing from and if you have any questions. Thank you also to all the beautiful community members who reached out and wished me well. I had the vaccine shot and the second dose, and it just knocked me on my back. I had it a couple of days ago. The first day it was pretty bad, but the second day was unbelievably bad. I'm feeling much better today. I think it's all the love that comes from our communities. You're such wonderful, special people. Thank you so much, everyone. If you would like daily updates on price movements in the crypto market, please subscribe to YouTube. I've left helpful links in the description of this video. Please remember, crypto is volatile. Always prepare yourself for the best and worst case scenarios. Reality will likely be between them. Stay safe out there, take care, and see you next time. Bye for now.